Plenty of comments coming in about Celtic. Let me throw a few at you. Craig says, if this is Celtic at poorest and still winning, teams should be very worried. Marzuno says, this will not be popular, but Celtic need to chuck it against Stuttgart. Just so everyone has niggles. Bengal says, can Kavanagh please just give Martin O'Neill 20 million to sit on his couch? It'll be better business than Chermiti. Daniel says, Celtic won't play any worse than today. We're going for it. We'll retain our title. Gillian says, Celtic will have peak performances before first of March. Still the best in the country. A lot about Patrick, though, says McGregor is finished. He's been brilliant, but might as well not be playing. Our midfield is the weakest in the whole league. So, plenty of comments coming in from... Sorry, actually, let me finish this one. AGSC Tech says, we need to renegotiate the Sky deal in summer. The SPFL is one of the most competitive in Europe. Now Sky need to be told we want a trophy wife style deal, and we are no longer down market. Can't agree more.
Well, they're certainly getting bang for the buck. That's for sure this season. And do you know something? There's the flip side of that coin is that Sky could have said for the last, I don't know how many years, you know, why are we even bothering? Because the outcome of the title seemed almost inevitable every time it kicked off in August. No, listen, I tell you what, the guys, the analysis from the two guys down at Rugby Park was absolutely spot on there, and just about everything they said. And that comment there about McGregor looks finished. What the guys said is absolutely spot on the money. McGregor needs help in there. He's getting absolutely swamped. And that's why, it's the old one, isn't it? Gordon Strachan, I think it was, that used the phrase, if a bad game when you're 29, it's a bad game. If you're a bad game when you're 31, your legs have gone.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. Callum McGregor, yes, he's not getting any younger, but he's not getting any help. That's what the problem is in there. And, you know, we're talking about people being enigmas, like Chermiti, but also Nygren. I mean, Nygren floats his way through games. I don't think he contributes. He certainly doesn't help McGregor out. I don't know, sometimes you just think...
He scores every week.
He's worse than a man down, Scott. But every week he's popping up, and it's not just kind of goals that don't count. His goals are massively important. At huge moments in hugely important games. And yet, what is he actually contributing to the midfield throughout the 90 minutes? I guess, again, you know, the same argument with Chermiti. He's pitched in today when it really mattered for Rangers, and that's a huge contribution in a really important match. But Nygren has been popping up with these goals week in, week out. And where would Celtic be right now without them? So this is just why nothing makes sense anymore. I don't understand what I'm watching.
The boys said it there. In terms of Oxlade-Chamberlain, they need to get him starting. No, I mean, I don't know his physical fitness.
It should have been a great idea for him today, Scott. And I'm
of
sure
course.
that in an ideal set of circumstances, I don't think he would have been on at half time on that surface. So, but yeah.
But he did make a big difference. We watched the second, or most of the second half in the press room at Ibrox, and you could see the difference, even without listening to commentary. And the Oxlade-Chamberlain made a huge difference to them.
It's worth saying as well, Scott, that Martin O'Neill said after the game, Engels will be out until after the next international break next month.
That's right.
It's a while he's going to be out. So.
And Hatate, the boys touched on it there. Hatate looks like he's checked out. Looks like a guy that was desperate for a move, hasn't got it, and can't get out of that kind of mood. So Oxlade-Chamberlain can't play in Europe, so he'll get a week now to recover. He has to start, I think, against Hibs, and then as the boy says, you would want him playing against Rangers at Ibrox, because he does give McGregor the help. The two of them actually dovetailed quite well for what I've seen in the game today, and I think they complement each other pretty well in terms of their styles as well. So they need to try and get him into the team. I mean, that's no excuse, and of course they still need more for Hatate and Nygren and Bernardo, who wasn't even involved today. I mean, they can't just get through the run-in, probably with the same two or three midfielders. But certainly when McGregor and Oxlade-Chamberlain are fit, then they're the two that you need in there if they're going to get a performance.
See, if it was up to you guys, would you chuck it, for want of a better phrase, against Stuttgart?
I tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not taking any risks. I would, and I think Martin O'Neill will do this. He'll put out as strong a team as he can do, but by being mindful of what's to come as well. I think the guys, again, analysis was spot on. I think some of the guys might come in off the fringes, and Martin O'Neill will probably say that, you know, one or two of his key men might be carrying something. I don't think Celtic will go into the game without their captain, but he is probably, you know, there's another conundrum. He's probably the one guy that you'd probably want to give the night off, you know, and just say, put your legs up. We've got bigger and more important games ahead. But I don't think I could see Martin O'Neill taking his captain out of the centre of that pitch, because I don't know what he's, you know, you can't be certain of what's left. As Scotty said, Oxlade-Chamberlain's not going to be there. And I think that's the problem. And that is, and I keep coming back to it, and I will keep coming back to it. Martin O'Neill might be able to maintain this, right? You're saying, is it sustainable? I don't personally think so. I don't think you can keep going back to the well and keep scoring goals. I mean, Celtic seem to be forgetting how to win games within 90 minutes. As the guys said, they need to control matches. They're not, it's Hail Mary stuff. And that is not, for me, sustainable. However, this is a mad season and it's Martin O'Neill. It might be, who knows? But it comes back to January, because he was crying out for an increase in quality and he hasn't got it. And it's making him, he's having to cobble this together. He's carrying out running repairs. 73-year-old man tearing his hair out, running up and down the sidelines. Celtic had an obligation to help him more than they did in January. And it's only because Martin O'Neill is, you know, keeps finding a way of these last minute or extra injury time miracles that it's not come back on the board as hard as it could have done by now. But I suspect it will do, because I just don't think he's got enough quality options at his disposal, which is why, as I said, when you go into this European game, can you even consider telling your captain to take the night off? Probably not. And that points to another January transfer window on the back of a really poorly strategised summer transfer window, which has created this mess. And Martin O'Neill's just desperately trying to spin plates at the minute to keep them alive, basically.
Jacko, I totally agree in terms of the January window and the squad. I mean, the fact that Mvuka, for instance, is at 45 minutes and then it's just completely bombed out. You know, the boy in loan for Brentford bombed out already for the squad. Adamu comes in the day, no good enough. So, again, it looks a terrible window, and Martin O'Neill's not been helped at all. However, in terms of the European game, I totally understand, you know, what he's saying, what the boys are saying about it's no top of the priority list. But by the same token, can you really afford to get two scuddings off Stuttgart? I mean, this team are fourth in the Bundesliga. I mean,
and that's why Scott, the idea of taking Cal McGregor out of that midfield would terrify me if I was Martin O'Neill. That's
what I'm saying, because it could be a heavy defeat, two heavy defeats home and away. I don't think that helps your league cause. I know you can rest players and keep them fresh, and I know people saying, Europe doesn't matter, it's all about the league. I totally get that, but I don't think you can take doons in Europe, because I think that has an impact on players' morale, and it then impacts on the league games coming up. So Martin O'Neill somehow has to cobble a team together again. Of course, he'll leave a couple out on Thursday night. I think he probably has to. I think a couple of the fringe guys will need to come in, but I don't think he can change it too much. He will need to ask the same guys to go to the well again, because I don't think you can get into a game against Stuttgart, a big European game against Stuttgart, undercooked and risk a heavy defeat. I don't think that does him any good at all.